Folks, welcome back to another review with yours truly, Sam Healey. Today we're taking a look at this guy right here. It's called Captain Carcass. It's put out by Mayday Games, and it is a tabletop version of a popular digital card game called Dead Man's Draw, put out by Stardock Entertainment. It's a push your luck game where you're trying to collect cards and score the most points at the end of the game. Let's get down to the table and we'll take a look. So this is what comes in a box of Captain Carcass. You basically have just a deck of 60 cards that are your loot cards. And then you have special scoring cards that can change the way you score the game instead of just the base way that comes in the rulebook. You also have some gamer aid cards that explain what each of the different loot card effects do. And then you also have some divers cards, which will basically provide each player with a special power that only they can do. The loot cards come in 10 different suits. Most of the suits range from 2 to 7, but the mermaids range from 4 to 9, so they're a little bit more valuable towards the end of the game. Now, in a game of Captain's Carcass, each player's turn is going to consist of simply flipping over loot cards. And these loot cards are comprised of the ones that I showed you, ranging, again, like I said earlier, from 2 to 7 on most suits, but with the mermaids it's 4 to 9. The lowest cards from each suit are taken and placed in Davy Jones's locker, so that some cards that will be flipped over, their effects will say pull some cards out of Davy Jones's locker and so forth and so on. But generally speaking, on a player's turn, they're just going to start turning over cards. And as long as they don't turn over the same suit that they've already turned over in this exploration, then they're fine. And they have two options. They can either continue exploring, or they can just return to the surface of the water and take all the cards that they found and put them into their hold. So on the second card, we'd be doing this, and then doing this. And we would continue to push our luck until we had one that matched something that we've already turned over. Now, if that happens, a diving incident occurs, and that means that every single card that you have found in your exploration goes into Davy Jones's locker, and you don't get any of them. But if someone were to stop before that second card is turned over and added to the exploration and revealed, then they would be able to take this and put it into their hold, and those cards are going to score them points at the end of the game. Now, when cards come into your hold from the exploration deck, you have to put the lowest numbered in that suit on the bottom. So any other cards that would come up, for example, if I got this one on another turn, I would be placing it underneath here like this. And then at the end of the game, once this pile has run out completely, only the top card in each suit counts for points. And that's pretty much how you play the game. It's a simple push your luck mechanism with a little bit of a twist. Now, the twist is that each card that you turn over has an effect that must be carried out when it is revealed. For example, the net here says that you have to choose a suit from your hold and place the highest valued loot card of that suit into the exploration area and apply its effect. So, for example, I could take this card right here and place it into the exploration area, and I get to carry out this effect. Now, this effect says that I take Davy Jones's locker, and I take the 3 cards off of it, off the top, and then I can look at them and add any one of these to the exploration area, also applying its effect. So I may want to choose the undersea exploring machine, or whatever you want to call that. And this effect, once it's placed here, it is carried out. It allows me to look at the next card to determine if I want to go forward or return to the surface. In this case, I do want to continue going forward, and so forth and so on. So, do I want to push my luck right now? Do I want to keep going? Sure, maybe, maybe not. This one, the key, is one of the special cards. The only time its effect takes place is if you have it and a treasure coming back into your hold. And when it places back into your hold, these two together combined to say that you can take a number of cards from Davy Jones's locker that equal the number of cards that you brought on this exploration. So the key is the only one, well, the key and the treasure box are the only two that actually don't affect while they're in the exploration row. So maybe I want to continue going here. I go ahead and turn over, and hey, look at that. I'm going to go ahead and stop there, pull these back, and they would be added where they are necessary. And since I did have a key and a box, I would then take, I got 5, so I would take 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 from Davy Jones's locker, and then I would also put them in my row like so. And the game continues. Some of the other cards that are in the deck allow you to steal from people's holds and put them into here, the exploration row, or into Davy Jones's locker, or some certain types of effects like that. Some, like the squid, I hate this card, makes you, if you turn this over, you must go 2 more. And of course, this one would take effect, which wouldn't really matter in this case because I would have had to turn over this card. But the squid makes you go 2 more cards at least. There's a lot of different things going on here, but generally speaking, it is simply a push your luck mechanism trying to gain the most points, and it can really mess you up, or you can come out the victor. It really just depends on the luck of the card draw. The optional scoring cards that come in the game also provide a little bit of variation for each game. After you've got a few games under your belt and you're comfortable with the scoring mechanism the way it's written in the book, you can use these cards and you can decide on them as a group, or you can choose them randomly, whichever you'd like. And then as you can see here, these are some of the, again, optional divers cards that can be used in the game just to kind of spice it up a little bit. These are all special powers that the players will be able to do, and only they will be able to do it. These are kind of swingy, but at the same time, the push your luck nature of the game really makes it to where these don't come into effect all that often, but when they do, they either really hurt or they really help. So that is Captain Carcass, put out by Mayday Games, and I have to say that it's not really high on my list of games to play. I enjoy luck-based games. I love dice rolling. I love those kinds of things. But this push your luck mechanism where you can lose absolutely everything unless you get just the right combination up there and so forth and so on, that really grates upon me. Now, having said that, my family really did enjoy the game. We played it a number of times last night, and it was one of those games where they loved, or they rather hated to love it, because they were, my oldest son Michael was like, I hate this game. I hate this game. Oh, I hate this game. The whole time we're playing it, and then once we're done, let's play it again. And so it's just that kind of game where it's very addictive, and it really can grate upon you. But at the end of the day, it plays so quickly and it plays so lightly that you don't mind sitting through another a play of it. So that was my son. My daughter really enjoyed the game. My wife loved the game as well. So it's one of those games that probably won't hit the table too often in my household, but it will probably, because they enjoy it so much. I'll go ahead and sit through it. As far as the push your luck mechanism is concerned, I liked what they were doing with it. You know, the same kind of push your luck mechanism was used in Diamond and Ink and Gold, and I really much prefer those games over Captain Carcass. I don't know why, but it just has a better feeling for me. I think maybe the different kinds of effects that every card brings up is what kind of pushes it over the limit for me, because a few of those triggering is fine, but every single card has an effect that triggers, and sometimes the effect doesn't trigger. Other times every single card in the exploration row is triggering, and that's not bad. It's not hard remembering them, because especially after about halfway through the game, you know what all the effects are. So that's not it. It's just that added level of complexity, not really complexity, because it isn't that hard. It doesn't make the game that much harder. It's just another thing that you have to do, and it's much different than just flipping over a card. Do I want to keep going, or do I want to go back to camp? I want to go back, I want to keep going. Okay, flip another card. I want to keep going. All right, flip another card. And so forth and so on. So I get and I appreciate what Captain Carcass is trying to do. I just would rather play something like Diamant or Ink and Gold, where it does it better. That's all I'm really saying. Now, having said all that, the artwork for Captain Carcass is really neat, actually. It has a lot of that strange looking artwork, but it's really well done. The quality is off the charts as far as that's concerned. So that is a huge plus, because there's a huge aesthetic draw to the game. People will be walking by and see the game being played and they're like, oh wow, look at that art, and that can kind of draw them into it. So that's a huge plus. The 10, some people are not fans of 10s. I like them, and I really like this one. It has a little hole in the front, so you can kind of see through it. And the rule book, the front of the rule book kind of fits in there. So there's a dude kind of inside this big diving helmet thingy. That's just an ingenious design, I thought. Very well done, and I enjoy 10s. They hold up a little bit better than cardboard does. They might be a little bit more difficult to store, but they're a little bit more classy too. I really like 10s, and I think that's a huge plus as well. So that's my thoughts on Captain Carcass. I'm going to say this is probably about a 5.5 to a 6. I'll go ahead and give it a 6 because I think it does have some staying power, has a lot of variability in it with all of the different player powers and the different kinds of scoring and little rules twists that come in those extra optional cards. So I think there's a lot of game here that you're getting for a relatively low price. So that is Captain Carcass, a strong 6 from me. We'll see you on the flip side, folks.